Gaming companies are always looking for new ways to make money, and usually they don't listen to what consumers want because at the end of the day, there will always be someone to buy the latest gimmick they're shoving into titles. And one thing that we're seeing creeping into games now are NFTs and companies announcing their intentions to put them in games. And over the past few weeks, two large companies have either launched or talked about launching NFTs in their games, and of course, they have been roasted across the internet for it. I have a couple of different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month or supporting via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I wanted to start off with this Screen Rant article, and it says Square Enix president starts 2022 with nonsensical NFT letter. Now, of course, Square Enix is a company that has a pretty good reputation in the gaming industry. They've stumbled along the way, but what company hasn't? But when they started 2022 with announcing NFTs in games and how that's the future of gaming and how everyone's gonna love NFTs, a lot of people kind of changed their tune with Square Enix because now everyone is worried about their upcoming games and what type of content they're going to shove into them. So it says the Square Enix president and representative director has baffled the gaming world with a lengthy letter espousing the benefits and future applications of NFTs within video games. This letter is far from the first instance of controversial NFT phrasing from a popular publisher, with Ubisoft recently coming under criticism for its NFT plans. I do want to talk about the Ubisoft situation as well, because I do think that they've both been within the past few weeks and they're good to talk about. It says, though, NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are unique packets of data that utilize blockchain technology to create a non-reproducible digital item. NFTs are often connected to items that can be reproduced or copied, such as images, videos, or audio files, and in this way, NFTs can be used to make a digital product scarce in a world where replicating an image seen online is as simple as taking a screenshot. A few game companies are seizing upon this opportunity and attempting to implement this concept into upcoming games by way of limited cosmetics and other downloadable content. Now, this is a giant problem for a lot of people, because we know it only takes a couple of large companies trying something new for other companies to follow. And so far, people are not very excited about the idea of NFTs in games, whether they be limited cosmetics or other downloadable content. It says speculation and excitement about NFTs in gaming seem to be running rampant, with developers shoving them into games to the chagrin of players, and the studio behind the hotly anticipated Stalker 2 even had to cancel their NFT plans after receiving backlash from gamers. I personally was really excited for Stalker 2, and then they announced that they were shoving NFTs into it, and my thoughts on the game instantly changed. I decided, you know what, maybe I won't like this game as much as I was expecting to. But then after weeks of backlash, they decided to turn back and not end up putting these NFTs into the game, which a lot of people are really appreciative of. I still plan to play it at some point, but if they had added NFTs to this title, I think a lot of people would have canceled their pre-orders. It says, though, Yosuke Masuda publicly endorsed the concept of NFTs in video games in a New Year's announcement. People were hoping for 2022 to be a great year where companies start listening to consumers, and maybe we see some new and unique titles releasing in the gaming industry. But then we get announcements about NFT, and I think everyone kind of shrugged. But this is the post that Square Enix had made just a couple of days ago. It starts off by saying, I would like to begin by wishing everyone a happy new year. The metaverse was a hot topic in 2021, inspiring a lively global conversation first about what the metaverse is, and then about what sort of business opportunities it presents. Again, this backdrop, Facebook changed its name in October to Meta, serving as evidence that the concept is not a mere buzzword but here to stay. The metaverse garnered so much attention that in 2021, it was dubbed the metaverse year. I'm gonna be honest, I have not heard anyone call it the metaverse year, and that's a pretty terrible name, but it is what it is. It says, I attributed this in large part to advances in extended reality technology, the increasing prevalence of the cloud and 5G, more sophisticated blockchain technology, and other technological evolutions that have taken place in a variety of fields over the past several years. And then it says the blockchain games. Be they single-player or online games, games have traditionally involved an undirectional flow whereby creators, such as ourselves, provide a game to the consumers that they play. By contrast, blockchain games, which have emerged from their infancy and are at this very moment entering a growth phase, are built upon the premise of a token economy and therefore hold the potential to enable self-sustaining game growth. The driver that most enables such self-sustaining game growth is diversity, both in how people engage with interactive content like games and in their motivations for doing so. Now, a giant problem that I have with NFTs is since they're not physical items, someone has to maintain the blockchain that it exists on, so if that disappears, your NFT disappears and that purchase becomes useless. In that sense, is an NFT really any different than owning a copy of a game on Steam or GOG? Even though there's not a limited amount of them or a special number denoting which copy you bought, it's still a digital item that can disappear. NFTs are possibly even worse than loot boxes because they're making you think that it's some big investment. They're not comic books or coins or stamps. They're not something that you can have in your hand even if the market crashes. You will lose it if something goes sideways, and unfortunately, I'm not a supporter of NFTs, and a lot of other people aren't either. Unfortunately, I don't want to see NFTs become a new trend in the gaming industry like these companies kind of plan for at this point. I'm someone who is willing to give companies chances to see what they can do with new ideas and technology, but from what I've seen, most people don't want NFTs in games and refuse to support titles with them already. Look at what happened with loot boxes. We tried to give companies a chance with those, and unfortunately, companies took advantage of people with those, and the same thing will most likely happen with NFTs. I wanted to also reference this article from a couple of days ago talking about Ubisoft Quartz, which was another NFT situation. It says Ubisoft's venture into NFTs, the amply named Ubisoft Quartz, has reportedly made less than $700 across 18 sales since the crypto gaming attempt launched earlier this month, and this was in December. Ubisoft Quartz was announced back on December 7th and has touted as the first energy-efficient NFT playable in a AAA game. The first of these digits, the in-house name for the Ubisoft NFTs, was launched for Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint on December 9th and made available exclusively to players who pre-registered for the Quartz platform. And then, though, it says following the first drop on December 9th, Ubisoft's experiment saw two more Breakpoint digits release on December 9th and the 12th, respectively, with the studio noting that more drops are planned for early 2022. However, it seems the experiment may not have turned out as Ubisoft had hoped, as the Quartz platform and system was immediately met with criticism and backlash upon its launch. Now, this isn't really that surprising to see because, again, people have been very vocal about NFTs, saying things like maybe in the future we'll give them a shot, but a lot of people are not excited about companies already putting NFTs into games. And it says, for example, some players took issue with how long they would have to play to earn an NFT, with Forbes senior contributor Paul Tassi highlighting how the first Quartz drop, a helmet, would have taken 600 global playtime hours first to earn, assuming he was one of the first 250 to do so. And then, eventually, just 11 days later, after the platform launched, Apex Legends senior character artist made a damning claim on Twitter saying, "How are the Ghost Recon NFTs doing? I looked at the 2 third-party marketplaces the court's website links, and there seems to be 15 sales total, 0 in the last day on one site. Am I reading this right?" People have been fighting back against NFTs being pushed into AAA video games, and it is already turning sideways for them. It's already going badly for companies like Ubisoft that think that this is the next thing they need to get in on. They want to get ahead of the trend. They want to be one of the first companies with NFTs in games. There are definitely people out there that are willing to give things like this a shot. I'm not saying that those people don't exist, but the age of physical collectibles isn't over. Even though we have services like Steam, collectibles like art books and statues aren't gone, and I don't see an end to them in sight, but these companies have a different idea for the future of gaming. I wanted to head on over to Twitter to read just a couple of tweets because, of course, people are very pissed off about the NFT situation with Square Enix. Ordinary Gamers said Square Enix put more effort into NFT implementation than providing a good port for their flagship Final Fantasy remake for PC, all while getting a bag from Epic. The industry isn't hurting for cash, they're just looking to gouge you. And someone else also said Square Enix announcing they're looking to put NFTs in their games. Then you remember Final Fantasy 16 is still in development. Great way to start the year. I know for me personally, I'm pretty worried when it comes to the future of the industry, especially when companies are starting to implement new things like NFTs. I do hope that they turn out to be great and they're positive, but I personally am not feeling very hopeful about NFTs in games, and most people aren't either. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.